As an NBA point guard.
You talking now? You haven't said a word all. You haven't even been here but once. You get the first question.
I've been cloistered in
okay.
back east.
All right. They got on notice? Huh?
I'm here for you. I'm here for you now. As an NBA point guard and also as an NBA head coach who had game plan against point guards, I mean, how should we perceive Steve Nash's contributions over the last 20 years to that draft?
Great question. I guess I should have been prepared for it, and I was not. I mean, he's one of the best. He reminds me a lot of Isaiah in Stockton, you know, those smaller point guards that had big hearts and did a lot of stuff. I mean, back-to-back MVP at his size is just amazing. So, you know, and I think he did a lot of things for the game. I think the great ones, to me, they make the game different, you know, and I think Nash did that with his movement, being an aggressive scorer, but also a facilitator, you know, finishing under the rim, you know. He just made the game different, and then when you watch people come behind him and they start trying to do that or play like him, that means he was special, you know, and so he was a special player for us all to watch. It's really sad. You know, I guess, you know, he's 40 years old. What the hell does he expect? You know, I looked at it that way too, you know, but he's had a great career. I mean, obviously a first ballot Hall of Fame career. And so that's how we should look at it.
Doc, as far as tonight's game is concerned, are you glad that the preseason is over, or are you like most coaches wishing you had just a little bit more time?
No, I wish we had more time, but no preseason games. So I think that's what most coaches are really saying. So no, I'm glad it's here. You know, it's nice to play some of these games, and you know, it is time. I think everybody's at this point ready. Everybody's eager. I don't know if we're ready or whoever we're playing is ready by opening night, but I think they're all ready to play. I can tell you that. We'll find out if we're ready.
Doc, some of our readers of our paper are getting concerned about your exhibition record.
Mm-hmm.
The year you won the championship in Boston, wasn't your exhibition about like now?
You know, I actually don't know. I think that year we were pretty good. In the 9 or 10, we were awful. I'm not even sure.
I think it was below 500.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know that. I don't even look, to be honest. I wouldn't know, which I'm not concerned by that. I mean, I want to play, but I don't think we played well as I thought we would play, whether we won the game or not. Because in some of those games, I would not have had our guys in. We probably would have lost a couple of them anyway. Having said that, I still don't think when our guys did play, and at least in this preseason season, I don't think we've played that great, even in that. And so, from a coaching standpoint, you are a little concerned with that, but not with the record or anything. That doesn't concern me at all.
How's Farmar not playing?
Jamal's not playing, and Baby's not playing.
Is Jamal hurt?
No, he's hurt. You know, yeah. So he's not hurt. I mean, I know it's nothing serious. I think it's either hamstring or something, but very. I mean, he hadn't done it or anything. He's not serious, and I just decided, well, why even take any chances? Oh, he'll be. Yeah, if it's a regular season game, he can play tonight for sure.
How do you play you guys in minutes?
First half, I'll play, you know, obviously without Jamal. And one thing I have found through preseason, when Jamal doesn't play, our second unit's not been very good. And it's been amazing how bad they are without him. And it's more, they're dependent on him and Spencer to create offense, and now you take him out. So that's the one thing we probably knew that anyway, but if we didn't know it, we know it now. So first half, I'm going to try to play guys pretty, normal minutes. Second half, I don't know if I'll play anybody. I'm not sure. I got to play 5, but I'm not sure who will play. I'm going to, just watch the game and see what Portland does. I'm sure Terry's going to do the same thing the other way.
What's the latest on Farmar?
He's playing tonight.
Oh, he's playing.
Yeah.
With early in the I think in Vegas you talked about working with Lawrence and Woodson
Mm.
and Sam, and how you hadn't done that yet.
Yeah.
What's it been like through 7 games working with those guys? And
It's been good. It's still a work in progress with, staff. I remember in the middle of the year, I don't know, whenever we played San Antonio and San Antonio, and I was talking to Pop last year and I said how he's doing, and he just said, man, this is tough trying to figure out, I've lost Bud and, Brett, and he's like, it's good, but I understood what he meant. It's just different when you have a whole new staff, and we're working it out.
This is a silly question, but what do those guys do?
They don't do crap. They get. No, I mean they do their jobs. Lawrence and Woody, all of our coaches, they work long hours, and they do a lot of things. That's a good question in some ways, but the assistant coaches do so many things that the head coach gets all the credit for. It's amazing, and it's a fact. The film watching, the attention to detail. The locker room, helping out in the locker room with guys, trying to keep us on the same message. I mean, that's all assistant coaching work, I guess the better question is, what do I do?
How does it get better over the course of the season?
It just does. It's just like basketball.
No, I mean, but how does it make your job?
Well, it just does. It's just like basketball. It's just like a team. The longer teams together, the guys grow. They start filling each other out better, and you become more functional. And so it's the same way.
Doctor, with that said, how much does it help you as the head coach to have a year under your belt with this core group?
I think that helps, a lot, obviously. I think they know me more. I know them more. One thing I have found as a coach is that you can have the exact same team back, and it's a different team. Call Pete in Seattle. Last year that team, they were all for one, and it's a great example of not the same group, but really the same core group in Seattle. And now you hear all this stuff that they're it's the same group of guys. I mean, what the hell happened? And success happens, and then it changes. And so we haven't had that type of success, obviously, but it's always, each year is different, even when you have the same group.
What's the small forward situation?
It's really no situation. I mean, Matt's going to start for us, and we'll see who backs Matt up.
Matt obviously continues to greatly struggle with the shot. What do you say to
Is greatly, like, did you add that in? Could you have just said struggle? I mean, what? The greatly struggle, is that like more than struggling?
He's struggling.
Yeah.
What do you say to a guy like that when he's going through a slump?
Listen, I've had guys, and I don't actually know. It depends on the guy. Some guys you call up in your office and you have a talk with. Some guys, it's like the pitcher that's having a no-hitter. You stay away from them. You don't want to. And with Matt, probably somewhere in the middle of those two, you played, Mike. I don't know. You didn't miss many free throws, but it's funny. It's everybody's different. Some guys you can kid around about it. Paul Pierce could go for 50, and you could show him on film and joke about it, and he could care less. Ray, you have to be careful. And so it's just each guy is different. And so it's that.
Do you think it's starting to affect Matt's confidence a little bit?
I hope so. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know. He wants to do well, and he's not. And that's how I always say with most players. I haven't met a player that didn't want to make a shot. And then you just hope he didn't want to make them so much that he can't make them. That you start getting in the way of yourself. That's usually what happens when you have a slump like he's had. But he'll figure it out. We got him to the basket the other night. We thought a 3-point play, and that would do it. And that hasn't. So it'll come. He hasn't. One thing I think about guys like Matt. I mean, I remember Ray in the playoffs went through a long stretch, couldn't make a shot, and I'm thinking, well, Ray Allen can shoot. I'm positive of that. And at some point, it's going to work out, and it did, and it will for Matt as well.
So you started trying to create more shot attempts for Matt?
No, just we got him a one going to the basket. And that's usually one way. In the old school way, you know, if you were struggling, you ran into somebody to get to the, right when it became penalty, you just ran into somebody and got to the foul line, and you made 2 free throws, and visually you see them go in, and now you feel good. But sometimes even that doesn't work in clothes. That hasn't worked yet. So,
What do you see from this Trailblazers team? I mean, everybody has either you, Clips, the Spurs, or the Thunder winning the West, but nobody really says anything about Portland.
I think Portland's really good. I have them as one of the teams that can win the West, along with 7 others. And I'm serious, and maybe even 8, you know, others, including us. I think we're all right next to each other than the Spurs. You know, the Spurs are better than all of us. I don't think there's any question about that. And so we have to catch the Spurs. So for me, I know that Portland's going to be a team that if we want to go where we want to go, you're going to have to go through them. They're going to have to go through us. Golden State, Memphis, Oklahoma City, but Dallas. But the Spurs are the best team in the West, and there's no doubt about that. They should have, you know, not should have. They could have won 3 in a row, 2 in a row, and until someone figures out a way of beating them, you know, I don't really want to talk about any other teams, including Portland or us. And that's the way I really look at it. Anybody disagree with that? Thank you.
Doc, is tonight significant in any way for any decisions you may make at the back end of the roster in terms of there's some players that could?
Yeah, I think we've already made it. No, but I do think we've made our decisions.
Tonight you've been a nail biter for you. You talked about how you didn't like this last preseason game as a player.
I didn't like any of them as a player. But having said that, the last one for coaches and players, you know, it's funny when you see a player where you feel like he's not trying to get hurt, you get him out because he will. And when you see a player going for it, you play him because he's telling you by his actions he needs to play more. You know, injuries happen. You can't worry about them. From a coaching standpoint, is to talk about it more and more. It's amazing, and we have to. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. You know, and that's just how it is. I don't ever worry about it or think about it much. But as a player, I did. You know, my last game, and then the practices. It's the same way. Typically, the practices from this point to first game are sketchy as well because these guys have worked all summer, you know, to unveil what they've worked on, and they're not going to let a practice take them away from that. And that's how you feel sometimes. So you got to know that going in.
Does having 6 days before the regular season starts play in your mind at all and say?
I like it. I like it. I think we need it actually. So you know, there's times where we don't. You know, I've had teams in the past where you really didn't want 5 days in a row with that same group because it was that, you know, the first Boston group with Tony Allen and Perk, and you didn't need them in the gym for 5 days in a row. Something was going to happen, and it was going to be like Boston Boxing Club happened, is what I mean. And so I learned that quick with that group.
What's the work schedule over this period of time?
Are you doing this so you can plan your vacation? Well, do you have plans? Tomorrow's off, all right. Sunday will be very light. So you guys, if you want to say it's off, I'll say that for you if you would like. And then we'll practice the rest of the week. Okay? Thanks,
that works for me.
It works for you? You are.